Moving on to AI, Peter was here earlier and discussed how, as of right now, Nvidia is the only firm that truly profits from AI. Do you already have an idea of where you believe AI will find its most significant applications? Will it make self-driving possible? Will enabling robots be involved? Are industries being transformed by it? As far as the large corporate impact is concerned, I believe it is still early. Have you developed a sense yet? Spending in AI, in my opinion, is currently outpacing, indeed, it is outpacing revenue. Regarding it, there is no doubt. Well, but AI is developing at a significantly faster rate than any other technology I've ever seen. The Turing test, for instance, was once in use. Now, your simple, open-source random LLM that runs on a Raspberry Pi is probably capable of passing the Turing test. In fact, I believe that the positive future of AI is one of great wealth and an era of plenty, with an abundance of commodities and services. Except for items that we consciously classify as scarce, such as unique works of art, everyone is free to possess everything they desire. However, I believe that with the introduction of artificial intelligence, AI, and robotics, the cost of goods and services will eventually trend to zero for anything that is created or given. It won't be zero exactly, but it will be. Everyone will be able to have whatever they desire. Naturally, it is the bright future, and I believe that to be about 80% plausible. On the plus side, there is only a 20% chance of annihilation. Nothing. What does the 20% look like, huh? Man, I have no idea. To be honest, I do need to intentionally suspend my disbelief in AI to some extent in order to get a good night's sleep. Even still, I believe that the real problem, the most likely problem, is how we find purpose in a future where artificial intelligence can perform any tasks that humans can perform a little bit better. The greater difficulty may lie in that. But I know more and more individuals who are retired now, and they seem to like living that way. Therefore, I believe that there can be a crisis of meaning since the machine can do everything that you can do a little better. Perhaps that will be difficult. Well, but really, you need the end components, Both autonomous vehicles and general-purpose robots, such as humanoid robots, are necessary. But once you have driverless cars and general-purpose humanoid robots, you can really, build anything. And this. I believe that the economy's size isn't really limited. One restriction, of course, would be the mass of the Earth, However, the economy is actually just the average productivity per person multiplied by the whole population. The economy is that. There is also no real limit to the economy if you have humanoid robots that are capable of doing, where there is no real limit on the number of humanoid robots, and they are able to function very intelligently. The economy has no real boundaries. Colossus, which is presumably the biggest private compute cluster of GPUs in the world, was just turned on by you guys. Is that correct? It's the most potent supercomputer of any kind, which, in a way, supports both David's and Peter's assertions that Nvidia has reaped the full economic benefits of artificial intelligence thus far. However, there are others who have other options, and you are now one of them. Since Dojo is all about pictures and big images, huge video, you have a very particular circumstance. Indeed, there are differences between the Tesla problem and the LLM situation. As you just mentioned, the context length in Tesla's instance is quite long. The nature of the intelligence is actually, and the what matters in the AI is different. Thus, the context is gigabytes in size. Windows with context? Yes, you do have a lot of context-related tokens, which is why we're simply bringing it up. There's a ton of context because you have, like 7 cameras. If you have multiple cameras, let's say you have a minute of multiple high-def cameras, that's gigabytes. Thus, you must compress. The challenge for Tesla is to condense a vast amount of context into the pixels that are truly important. Well, and distill that over time. Thus, you have the space dimension as well as the time dimension. The pixels must be compressed both spatially and temporally. And then have that inference done on a small computer, comparatively speaking. A tiny, like a few hundred watt. It's an AI inference computer that was created by Tesla, which is still the greatest by far. We could not purchase anything better from suppliers. Therefore, the AI inference machine built by Tesla and installed in the vehicles is superior to anything we could purchase from any vendor. And just so you know, the Tesla AI team is really good. However, someone on your team from Tesla published a technical paper and a deck in the design, and I thought that was amazing. You created your own Ethernet transport control layer design. Ethernet isn't good enough for us, you say. Oh, we're just going to reinvent Ethernet and string these chips, you say, referring to TT-CoA or something like. There is some pretty amazing stuff going on there. Yes. No, the design team for the Tesla chips is really, really good. Theoretically, you might argue, why not? But is there a world where, for instance, other people over time meet some kind of, video use case or image use case? Since I have some additional cycles over here, you may be considered an Nvidia AI competitor. Not intentionally, exactly, but well, yes. I'm referring to the two initiatives that Tesla has, which are training and inference. Our inference chip, which is found in every automotive inference computer, comes after Dojo, which is the training computer. And Dojo, well, we've only had one Dojo. We should be able to access Dojo 2 in volume before the end of the next year. And that. We believe it will be somewhat similar to, a training system of the A100 kind. Additionally, there is, I suppose, some possibility that may be utilized as a service. That being said, Dojo is just kind of like, I suppose I have some more faith in Dojo now. However, I don't think it will be until version 3 that we will truly know how good Dojo is. For example, a technology typically requires 3 significant iterations before it is considered outstanding. And next year, we'll only see the second significant iteration. I'm not sure, but the third iteration might be late, like on the 26th or something. How is the Optimus project progressing? I recall that you mentioned in public during our most recent conversation that it's being used for some minor testing inside the factory. So it's really doing something useful. For anything like that at scale, what is the material construct and when you know? What would they cost, therefore, if you were to start manufacturing the Model 3 right now and 1 million of them were coming off the assembly line? Do you think $20,000, $30,000, or $40,000? Indeed, I have found that, in fact, everything produced in large enough quantities would eventually approach the cost of its materials. Now, there are, I should say this some things are limited by the expense of intellectual property, such as paying for patents and other things. So a lot of what's in a chip is, paying royalties, depreciating the chip factory, etc. However, the chip's true marginal cost is extremely low. All right, so Optimus, it clearly